Hi, my name is Devan Bonebrake. I'm one of the partners here at Studio Golf, and really the concept and the idea was born when I was teaching at a high-end country club in Palos Verdes. Great membership, lots of lessons. The players would get a lot better during the lessons, but what I really noticed is that they had a hard time taking the lesson with them, and when they practiced, they didn't have enough feedback to know if they were doing it right or not. And so lesson after lesson, year after year, some of the same mistakes would come back. So I thought there's got to be a better way than this. There's got to be an easier way. And there has been some indoor golf, but I wanted to do it my own way. We collaborated, wanted a place that was going to be high energy, very motivating, upbeat, and somewhere you could practice and you'd want to get feedback on every shot, know what you did right, know what you did wrong. There would never be any confusion, tons of clarity, and that's where the dream was born. So in the early days, some of the challenges was deciding what do we really need in here and what do we really want. It's definitely evolved. It was going to be just some simulators. Then we talked about adding putting. Then we got the fitness component involved. And so we've had to go back and forth on should we add this, should we not? But really we wanted a fitness facility that was all encompassing where you could learn about your swing. You could have 3D numbers, learning about the body, and then you could go straight to the gym and work that out and then go back to the bay. So it's a very cool experience where you have access to all these different tools that the best players in the world do. But for the average golfer, it's very difficult to acquire. And so that's what Studio Golf is all about, is giving everybody the same possibility and the same opportunities that the best players in the world have. So I can't thank God enough that I found golf. I was a big basketball player, not physically in size big, but I was really into it. And so that started to catch up to me. In high school, I still wasn't starting on varsity when I was a junior. And so I got frustrated with it. I eventually said, I played a little bit of golf. I'm going to try out for the golf team. So I started very late. But fortunately, because I started late, it really motivated me to try to get good quickly. That's where I started seeking out instruction, met some of the best instructors in Oregon where I lived. And from there, I was fortunate enough to meet Jim McClean, who's one of my major mentors, the major mentor, I would say, in my entire teaching career. And so from there, I was able to travel to Miami and work for him personally. We were able to work with some of the best players like Alexis Thompson, Keegan Bradley, Greg Norman. And it was just such a great experience. I was able to take that with me, grow that. And a lot of what he did as Academy, which were outdoors, I'm able to take here indoors and just make it a little bit more modern and more accessible to players throughout the country. So whether it's El Paso or really anywhere in the country, I think Studio Golf brings a product that is nowhere else. One of the things that I really like about Studio Golf is how we set it up to be learning centric. So in every single bay that you hit in, you're always going to know exactly why the ball did what it did. The TrackMan's going to tell you, which is one of the best launch monitors in the world. You're going to be able to see the video live in front of you. So, it's very hard to learn if you can't visually see it. Most people are visual learners. And then on top of that, we have the first powered by Sportsbox facility where you can actually see in real time all of the numbers 3D wise of what your body's doing. So you're gonna get numbers such as your shoulder turn was 92 degrees. And you're gonna be able to know if that's good relative to a tour player, relative to what you need. And on top of that, if it's not what you want, you can walk over to the gym, work on some mobility exercises, and then go back to the bay and see if it got better. So you can quantify everything. You can make sure that there's no wasted swings, which is essentially what I built Studio Golf and what it's all about, is making sure that you either learn from the swing or you know that you got better when you made that shot. So that's really what differentiates it. The kiosks are awesome. Myself and partner Mike Maggs did some videos on there so you can learn how to not slice, how to set up properly. If you have questions on the grip, all of that's going to be on there for your disposal. And I haven't seen that anywhere else in the country. So I'm sure there's going to be a lot more impactful situations as we open. But one thing that I'm very proud of and I love hearing is as we built the facility and as we put it out to the public and showcased the visuals that we have and all the different tools, I've had people from all over the country and world ask me to bring it to their city. Hey, I want you to bring it to Cincinnati. Hey, I want you to bring it to Scottsdale. Hey, this would do great in New York. You should bring it to Toronto. And, really that's long-term the goal. I think everyone should have the ability to have access to a place like this, to be able to practice the same way as the best players in the world and give everybody the best opportunity to get good at golf. So golf's one of those rare sports where it's an individual sport, but at the same time, you can play with anyone. You don't have to know them. You can be different skill levels through the handicap system and different tee boxes. So I think it's a very social sport, a great way to meet a lot of people. And obviously there's a lot of values that are instilled within it. So you usually meet really quality people. And what I also like is that you can play it forever. So it's not one of those sports where generally you're going to hurt yourself if you're past 30. I know if I was still playing basketball right now, I would probably have torn an ACL. So I like that golf is something that you can have goals and actually get better even if you're getting older. You could be 50 years old and by 60 actually be better if you're practicing the right way, you're taking care of your body, you're doing all the right things. I think that's really motivating because I think after a certain age, a lot of people just kind of expect to decline when in a lot of ways you can just get better. And so I think that's something that's really cool about the sport of golf and the game of golf in general, and something that I want to really instill with all of our members at Studio Golf. One of the most rewarding experiences, and actually just happened to me the other day, was seeing the facility fully in use and being designed and used exactly how I saw it from the onset. So starting from a little scribble down on a piece of paper to what we had visualized and talked about in all of our meetings for the past 18 months, and then seeing it happen in real time where people are working on their swing in the bays, people are in the fitness facility, people are on the putting green, and even on top of that, people are socializing, having a couple of drinks after their lesson. This is just exactly what I saw in my mind, and what's so cool is that is exactly what's happening right now. So don't get me wrong, at least going to the range is going to be better than not at all. But in my opinion, it's so much easier to get good, and it's so much more motivating to get good when you have feedback for every single shot. So the unfortunate thing about golf is that, unlike a lot of other sports, is that if you put time in no way does it guarantee that you're going to get better. And some people have just become accustomed to this, and they're okay being the same skill level year after year, yet they're putting in a lot of time every single month, every single week. And so what we want to do here is we want to make sure that every time you make a swing, you know whether you did it right or wrong. It's hard to do on a range. Every single time you make a swing, you know how to fix it. You have the kiosk, you have the drills, and then you can quantify that over time to really see with the numbers, am I actually getting better? Am I actually hitting it farther? Am I actually more consistent? And all of those things can be guaranteed here if you use the facility correctly, if you follow the process, and it's exactly what I think most of the golfing population needs. So as much as it might seem like studio golf is designed for the avid golfer, to be honest, it's the most learning-centric place you can be for golf. And what that's going to affect the most is the beginner golfer, someone that doesn't know anything about golf. So making it very easy and quantifiable and easy to understand, being able to visually see yourself, it's a huge amount of information when you first start in the golf world. There's all these different terms, there's all these different rules, and so it can be very overwhelming. And so we want to cut out all of that stress and pressure and allow people to see themselves and focus on things one step at a time. So if I'm focusing on setting up a certain way, if I can see every single time if I'm setting up like that, if I can draw a line and know every single time I hit, I want my left eye on that line, and I can look at that every time I hit and decide, did I do it or did I not do it? And that way you can have some guidance and make sure that you're not spending a lot of time building bad habits and then having a coach later on try to undo them. You are learning from the get-go the right way, and you can actually get good really quickly. Most of my lessons are not necessarily teaching people brand new things, they're undoing things that they did before. And so if you don't have to undo some bad habits or some bad motor patterns, it's gonna be a lot easier to get good quickly, and it's gonna be a lot more motivating because you're gonna see the process happening faster and faster. In a perfect world, the way Studio Golf designed is a combination of our services, such as our lessons, our fitness facility, our club fitting, and doing stuff on your own. Learning on your own is very important, but you want to make sure while you're exploring on your own that you have some guidance from a professional. We have some of the best teachers in the country here. I saw them out myself. We reviewed them. We have a lot of training on a weekly basis, making sure that we're always staying at the very peak top of the industry and that everyone here is on the same page. So understanding that you should take some services, work on it on your own at your own pace. It might be a weekly lesson, it might be a monthly lesson. It kind of depends on the time, your budget, all of those things. But it's really important to have the professional get you off in the right direction, tell you, hey, we have all this technology. These are the only things you should really focus on. And if you spend your time on these things, your improvement rate will be 10 times faster than if you're just to do it on your own. I think anyone understands that their time is worth money. And so spending a little bit of money for the instruction is well worth it in the long run and in the short time.